Friday Night Lights. Yes, we are racing under the lights right here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Welcome one, welcome all as we kick off what should be a fun 4 days of racing coming up. Don't forget we're racing on Sundays as well now. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and a Monday. Now, do you ever have one of those days where you start up the computer and you get the green or blue screen of death and you're looking at your computer saying, this is not good. This is really not good. Well, our poor graphics operator, Jeremy, he found out about 2 minutes to airtime that he had to type up the changes manually. And I don't know if he's like my former colleague, Jason Portwando, who's in the judges stand tonight. Jason was the old hunt and peck. He would type like that. I think Jeremy's a little faster. But because of that, we did have an error when it came to the scratches in race number 5. The 1 is actually out in the 5th race, that being Gala's Black Beauty, not the 5 Sunwash. So just make that correction for you in race number 5. The 1, Gala's Black Beauty, is out, and the 5 is in. So looking forward to the broadcast here this evening. One guy, I don't know what his computer skills are like. Actually, I do. Oh. And that is the Hall of Famer, and that is Randy Waples. The good news is he's far better at driving horses and a car than he is when it comes to computers. Welcome, my friend. How about this wacky weather that we're having?
Absolutely brutal. And you want to know something I realized there? I am driving horses better now than I ever did in my entire career.
Because you're not losing races?
I'm not losing any races. I'm not upsetting anybody. This is absolutely working out fantastic.
You might be upsetting some people.
True. Absolutely, yeah. Just not the ones that have the power to fine you.
That's right. Or fire you.
Yeah, exactly. I could see Portwando up there right now looking at my driver's license with the hunt and peck there.
I wanted to ask you about when it does get windy like we have here tonight, windy conditions, the wind from the west at 39 kilometers per hour. Is it more tricky on the turns because you kind of get the horses? It's like when you're in a car and you can kind of feel it blowing a little bit. Is the last turn especially, a little bit more difficult with the winds?
It's just where the wind's coming from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it's coming the right direction and it rocks you coming around that last turn, whoa, I'll tell you, she's wide open there. And I mean, these are 1,000-pound animals, and you're sitting behind them. So you're looking at probably close to 1,200 pounds of weight. And when one of them gusts of winds come, it'll just take that horse and just move him completely sideways. That's how strong it is over there, But, hopefully things will, go good tonight. Biggest thing with the wind is the gate. Can the gate get away from the wind? It all depends on which way the wind is blowing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the track
if it's a crosswind, we should be okay.
Yeah.
If it's head on, we could be a problem.
It's been a headache for the track crew today. The track's listed as good. They've been working obviously very, very hard getting ready for tonight's racing surface to be in tip-top shape. And again, hopefully the wind does calm down a little bit for us here, as we do have 11 races coming your way. We have some retirement notices to pass along. Neither you nor I, but these are horses that have called it an end to their career. And we're going to start off, first of all, with Call Me Goo. And she's actually going to be bred to Chapter 7. And what a resume she had. Look at that, 25 for 46, Randy. And here's a look at her resume. It doesn't get any better than this. $1.4 million in earnings. Obviously the biggest win, the Breeders' Crown, but the Armbro Flight right here. What do you remember about Call Me Goo?
You want to hear my first remembrance of the Goo?
Sure.
Okay, so she comes up. I think Jonathan Roberts either had her or he was driving her. Can't remember which, but she shows up in Moore's barn as a 2-year-old. Gorgeous looking too, right?
Yeah.
Sylvain Filion down to drive. She comes around the top turn, and that top turn on our track, that's a mile turn. So when she come around the turn, he moved her first over, and she was going so fast that she completely blew the turn.
Oh, yeah?
She didn't follow it 2 deep. She didn't follow it 3 deep. She blew around it there. She was about 6 deep when she come off that turn, and she trotted the last quarter, I think either 27 flat or 26 and 4.
Wow.
2-year-old trotting filly. Like, that's how quick she was moving. So right away, you knew that, you were looking at something special. And then she, as a 3-year-old, she did what she did. As an aged horse, she did what she did. And, she's definitely going to probably be a fantastic mother.
And here's a look at the Breeders' Crown victory for Call Me Goo. And the good news is that, obviously, mentally, she caught up to her physical abilities as well, because she was able to have an illustrious career. And what do you make of the fact that went to Chapter 7?
Yeah, I love love Chapter 7.
Yeah.
Absolutely love them. So, I mean, I'm glad that she's going to go there. The only thing that would be nice if somehow or another they maybe bred her to Green Manalishi, and we got the offspring up here to race in the Ontario Sire Stakes.
Yeah.
Chapter 7's New York.
Right.
A lot of her offspring will probably be racing New York Sires or Grand Circuit. Maybe we'll get to see them, but regardless of that, you know, I mean, going into Okus Vonsted's barn, I mean, I don't know her, whatever, but I would guess the first time that he laid eyes on her and sat behind her, he probably just said to himself, this is amazing, because I think he bought into her. Like, she wasn't just given to him to train. He bought part of her as well. So
and here's a look at the Arbro Flight victory.
Look at her coming here,
and, just a big last quarter here. 27-second last quarter to get up to win. And the resume's, it's flawless pretty much. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. An O'Brien Award winner. Just going to be one that we're going to miss seeing. But that's the best thing about the mares, though. I can't wait to see their progeny.
Yeah, me too. And she was good gaited, hardly wore any equipment, you know, that way. I get a great attitude, strong. You know, there's a lot she can pass on.
Now we're going to get to another horse that is retired. This is a gelding, so he's just going to chill now for the rest of his life. And this is Desperate Man. I almost kind of envisioned, looking back at his career, that he had almost two types of careers. He had his great 3-year-old campaign here, and then he got really good on the half-mile ovals. I mean, probably one of the best half-mile ovalers I've ever seen, this Desperate Man. He went down and did very well in the Borrega series and stuff like that. So, but he has a bit of an ankle injury, so they're going to call it quits with him.
Yeah, well, still owned, as far as I know anyway, by the Chikeen family.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that's typical for John Chikeen.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's not gonna pressure this guy. Or, you know, I mean, I think if it's not mistaken, it's John and his wife, and then Paul Davies and Nicole, which is John, that's his daughter. Mm-hmm. So it's a family thing. And I just, you know, as soon as he was going to show any weakness, you could pretty well guaranteed, you know, he's going straight out into the field. And I'm glad, you know, it's nice when they do that. You know, these things, they do everything that they can for us. They compete for us. They give us a lot of thrills. When it's done, you know, the thrills are done, you know, give them a nice home out in the field. The other day there, if I'm not mistaken, I'm sort of getting on a little bit of a tangent, but, you know, if I'm not mistaken, Sugar Doyle was talking about Brody Scrapper. He just raced at Western Fair the other night. I think he was 14. That was his last start.
Right.
And he's going to go to Travis Cullen's farm, and he wasn't even Travis's horse at the time, but he's going to go to Travis Cullen's farm and live out his rest of his life.
Awesome.
I mean, that's all. That's what it's all about. You know? Really, it is.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So the thing here with this horse, if we take a look at Desperate Man when he won the Super Final, actually, obviously we're going to remember his big win being the Pepsi North America Cup. I guess Matt Kakaley got off the horse in his most recent race and said, you know what, he took a bit of a bad step. He just doesn't feel right. Oh. So they did initial X-rays, didn't find anything, and then they brought the horse up here and they found something, and they just said, you know what, we can't really go on, you know. So and the fact too, like, this was a smaller stable to have success, not only obviously in the Super Final, but the big one being the Pepsi North America Cup. Those are the stories that, you know, movies are written about. You know, you're beating Goliath, and great for, you know, Trevor Henry as well. And here's a look at the NA Cup, and perfect drive given by Trevor on this night too. Yeah, absolutely. Trevor suited this horse so well right from the very time. He took his time with him. You know, him and John both, it seemed like they were both on the same page with Desperate Man. They were just letting him kind of, you know, progress on his own. And then as he got closer to the NA Cup, you could just see that the horse was really getting set up for a big effort. And look at this for an effort. Huge individual mile here. This is something that Trevor's going to remember for the rest of his life. The Chikeens are going to remember it for the rest of his life as well. And like I said, it's just so nice to see, you know, horses like this caliber or whatever, and then end up with a beautiful farm to retire to. You know what's funny too? I'm just looking at his results here in the NA Cup, and I was reading it in the Standard for Canada article too. Fourth was Bulldog Hanover in that race. You know. Little did we know in the 4-year-old campaign what the Bulldog would turn out to be, but that's how good Desperate Man was. That's good. Again, that just goes to show you how good he was. You know, I mean, he was able to, and because Bulldog was no slouch as a 3-year-old. He just got definitely a lot deeper as a 4-year-old. Yeah, for sure. Let's start off with a look at our races here today with race number 1. And Randy, I must admit, I'm not going to spoil my entire pick 5 ticket, but this is an all race for me. This race is impossible.
You alled it?
because I alled it.
Good for you.
I mean, Eternally
love it.
Hanover I'm picking, but I don't trust anybody in
No,
this race.
no,
you know?
it's a tough one.
This is the lowest. I don't remember us having this cheap of a class for trotters last year. This is relatively new to me.
Yeah, this has just been this year's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
listen, I need help, so help me out. Now, Helpful Princess, I think Garnet's picking this horse on top. I looked at the replay from Flamborough, and this horse stopped, and I mean stopped. Now, did the horse maybe need a race? Possibly. It was quick off the van. Now you get a significant driver change as well, but I'm not willing to take a low price on this one. Now, Randy, if you picked Helpful Princess, I hope that I'm not offending you there with those comments. But
no, I got her in for 4th.
Okay.
I agree with you there.
Yeah.
I want to see her, be a little bit deeper. That last line isn't going to do us a whole lot. And that last line that she raced at Charlottetown too, she was bet down to 30 cents, gets everything her own way on the front. She's at the half and 3, Jeff.
Yeah.
And she wins by a neck. Then she gets on a van, ships up here, races, 6 days later?
That's tough.
6 or 7 days later?
Yeah.
Would there be a chance that maybe she was sick?
possibly.
Yeah. She looked like she maybe raced sick her last start down there, jumps on a van, has to truck up here, maybe she was a little bit sick, but definitely has some wheels there. There's definitely some ability there. And like Jeff said too, picking up Louis Wow, that's not a bad thing either. I threw her in as part of it. I threw her in for 4th. I just don't really see her being a win candidate in here with what she's bringing so far.
So you and I are both on Eternally Hanover. If he stays flat, he's the winner,
Yes.
I think. That's a big if, though.
That's the big if. That's the whole thing right there. Now, that being said, if you go a little bit further down from that bottom line, Jody did pick him up one time last year, and that's that 54-4 win at Woodbine here. So when he gets down into these really bottom classes, he does become playable. So I think that he's a good pick in there. I'm going to back him up in my pick 5 with the 4-horse, Jeff, Meadowview Rothy. I think this guy's been getting closer and closer. He's been getting away really bad. Had some bad post positions to work with as well. But now she's got the 4-hole, not a really deep field, picks up Bobby McClure for the second week in a row. So I'm going to see if maybe he can make a little bit of noise with Meadowview Rothy.
Second race on the day will be for some Pacers coming up. This will be obviously the second leg of the pick 5, guaranteed pool today of $75,000. I watched this qualifier very carefully with Wassail Blue Chip. Kind of liked the way that she qualified, but then I looked up what she raced against. Not much,
Massachusetts Sires.
Yeah, and then was racing at Plain Ridge.
Yeah.
Now they're off of Lasix in here, so I got to take a bit of a wait and see approach with this one. Sugar Pie Honey, I kind of thought was all out to win last time out, Randy. I don't know if you agree with that or not. So I'm going to go with this La Mickey. Now, I don't know. The stale date might be a bit of an issue with this horse, though. That kind of worries me a little bit.
This is what were we talking about on, what was the last day we worked together?
That was Monday.
Monday?
Yeah.
We were talking then about some stables you can give a pass on the stale date. This is one of them.
Paul Court?
Paul Court.
Okay.
Yeah, he's he can bring them in here and they can have, a month off, and it doesn't seem like it really makes that much of a difference. They're still live. Watched her walk in too when he was bringing her in to the urine stall too. She looks sharp as well. So I also went La Mickey in there. Tough field. And I agree with what your assessment on Sugar Pie Honey. I think she was all out to win, but I also think each time that they come back on that 7-day rotation, she's going to get stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
But do I think that she's going to get strong in 2 starts to be able to beat La Mickey? No, I'm going to stick with La Mickey.
How deep did you go into your pick 5 there, just out of curiosity?
So far, I went 3-4 in the first, 2-7 in the second.
Okay.
Yeah,
so the 2 obvious ones there.
Staying with that.
Let's get to race number 3 on the card. We scratched number 3, this being Shutter Green. I always joke about colleague Chad Rosema, how he has alligator arms whenever we go to pay the bill at the restaurant. He actually paid the other day, though. That was me when I was sitting on my couch back on January the 2nd. I was watching Donald Tover warm up, and I said, man, he kind of looks good. And I didn't play him. I was just kicking myself, too, because he got a decent price on him on that day. That was first time out for Demers. Do you think he's got a chance to repeat? I know, and Demers has had him in the past, so he knows him very, very well. Do you think he's got a shot to repeat in here?
Absolutely. He's the route that I'm going to go as well. And we got Shutter Green, like you said, the 3 horses scratched down to a field of 7. And the thing that I like about him is they can race him different ways. They can race him tough. doesn't really seem to matter. He's just a horse that, you know, when he gets down into these classes, much like we see with Mr. Magic, when he gets into that 20,000 optional claimer range or whatever, it's really, really tough to beat him. It's almost like this class is written for him. I thought Double Dippin' raced extremely well last start. I had this horse up on top, was really happy with the way that he raced, but I will say, in my opinion, I think he should have won that race, Double Dippin'. I think he had every opportunity to come through there and win that race, and I kind of thought that he maybe kind of played a little possum when he did see the fresh air. And, you know, 2 for 24 last year, but still, he makes money for Sarah. She's got him racing good, so I'm going to throw him in for third in here, but Donatover, also the way I'm going.
I'm scared of Turcotte off the claim with Legacy's Jailbreak. I can see that horse being pretty effective here today as well. We'll see if that one's able to pick up career win number 18. We're going to skip the fourth because we're a little bit heavy for time, so we're going to get to race number 5 now on the program. This is where we had the incorrect scratch during the pregame show when we started off with Evan. It is the one, that being Gala's Black Beauty, who has been removed from this race. And I actually kind of like that horse a little bit. First time out for Wad doing the driving there. But we had the 5 as being scratched, but the 5 will race in here. I asked you about this horse on Monday because I was just looking at the rough notes that we get sent to us, the proofs, and I looked at that line with Beach Weagle, and I didn't see the race. And I said, Randy, how good was that? And you gave this horse a glowing review.
Yeah, huge on end is the way I had it wrote down. I mean, obviously she was just out of position, but, you know, applaud to Travis Cullen. You know, he's part owner of this one too. He did right by her. That's the whole way to do it. First lifetime start, you know. She had the 10 hole. Yeah, you can come out of there floating and looking and hoping, but what happens if you don't get it? What happens if you don't get the hole? You know, and you're left on the outside. First lifetime start, how's that going to start your career? It's got to be tough, you know, drawing the 10 hole, your first lifetime start. Then you got to go to the back, knowing full well that she qualified really, really well and that she was power. But again, he did right by that horse. This week, second start, he's got options. Plus, we got a scratch from the 1, moves her down into the 8 hole. Let's take a look at so this is the first time you got to see her race?
Yeah, this
You're
is the
gonna
first
like
time,
this.
yep.
You're going to like this. So let's take a look at Beach Wiggle coming for home. Had the 10 hole, like I said, went to the back and was really no factor. You can see right where Travis is sitting. I mean, he's got this whole field to go around, but look at the size of her too. And she's long, and she's just a really, really nice looking filly in here. So again, I just can't say enough for the job that he did with her. So now here she is. Now she's out about 5 deep, making no ground whatsoever. But here's the sprint going on right here up ahead of you. You can see the sprint. They're going all they can. Well, now she starts to sprint. Now he starts to ask her, how does she take to it? Let's take a look.
A little green, too.
Very green. Yeah, but look at this, though, eh? Just keeps coming forward. Loved her. Absolutely loved her. And, I mean, the qualifier, she had a couple of moves in that qualifier at Flamborough. He whacked it out with her. He's got different ways that he can race her. Does have the 9 hole again in here tonight, but there is a scratch. Should move her down. I cannot see him sitting at the back. But even if he did decide that he was going to move her backwards, wouldn't bother me, because I think that with the speed that she has and that last race going to make her that much stronger, I think that she could go around the whole field, much like she almost did first time start. Now this is going to be second time start. He can race her however he wants.
See, to me, if I'm an owner, that's exactly what I want to see with a first career start.
Absolutely.
I'd rather see that than to go right to the front and empty them out.
Yeah,
you know what
absolutely.
I mean?
This gives you hope.
Yeah.
Too, you know, then watching them progress, you know, that's the big thing about young horses, and that is just the fact of watching them and as a driver, feeling them progress and get better. You know, perfect example, the one day I was talking to J.R. Plon about Bruno No.
Yeah.
The job that him and Gabby have gotten together and done with that horse, this is a legitimate open horse now.
Yeah.
He wasn't like that before, and J.R. deserves a lot of credit for the way Bruno
Racing this weekend,
No.
I think.
Yeah. You know, and that's part of being a driver, is watching them progress.
Yeah, that's
you know?
the best part.
It is the best part.
Let's get to the 6 now on the card. The one thing that you see a lot throughout the year is Des Decor going to Kyle Fellows back to Des Decor. I almost don't read anything into it. I consider it almost the same.
Lateral?
Yeah, exactly. And Job Hunter, you know, has been one of the more consistent horses in this category for a long, long time. Do you think they beat Job Hunter tonight?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do. Or, I mean, I'm going to play against her anyway. Des, for those that don't know out there, Des is a fireman.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and one of the top firemen, too, in Brampton, I think it is. Isn't that where
And at this, do you really want to be training when it's minus 50 out?
Well, that
and you're working?
And I think sometimes because he's a chief, he's got to be there 24/7, so he can't do, the horses too.
Yeah.
But Job Hunter, I think that she's beatable tonight. Raced really, really good in that last start. Been racing really good. Her form's fantastic, but you're not going to get a price if you're going to go to her in there. I would say that she's by far the logical. I'm going to go to Kalina Diamond. And we're going to show you the replay on her. So recently come back. You can see July the 26th, she was scratched, vet sick, requalified the end of November. So she's only just kind of worked her way back in. She only had the, you can count November the 29th as December, I guess.
Yeah.
So technically about 4 starts in December, the 1 start in January. So to me, she's just gradually getting stronger and stronger. And I thought last week she kind of showed us that she's getting strong enough to, maybe get the job done in here. So let's take a look at Kalina Diamond. Jeff, you're also going to notice too, she is now 6 years of age, that 4-year-old mark of 50-4. Right over this track right here. They originally claimed this girl for like around 20,000. She took right off for them, but last season never really worked out. Now she's kind of come back again, and like I said, I think that she's in a pretty good spot. J.R. Plant going to come back for the ride here. So let's take a look. Like I said, she comes first over, spends a long time out there on the track, and really at this point, I kind of thought she was going to get the job done, but I just think that it took a little bit too much out of her. She was just a little bit susceptible to somebody coming up on the outside. And who does it end up being? Powder Play. I'm pretty sure that's Powder Play with Billy Davis. And, she's got a lot of back class too, Powder Play. But I think that Kalina Diamond needed that tough kind of a start, get a little bit of, get the air out of her lungs, make her tired, make her stronger this week. She does have gate speed. You can see down towards the bottom. She is able to use a little bit of gate speed. I'm kind of hoping that he comes out of there with Dougie and hopes to land right on Job Hunter's back.
Only thing that worries me is that Barnes been quiet to start off the year.
Very quiet.
That's the only thing that worries me a tad. Now they can get really streaky. They can get really good there, and they'll win about 5 in a week. So you kind of want to jump on the bandwagon early as opposed to late, right? So you might be jumping on right at around the right time because they're due to get a little bit of momentum going right now at this point. So race number 6 will be part of the late pick 5 as it starts off there in race 6 and wraps up in race 10. Let's get to the 7th now of the day. Oh, Randy, I had a tough time in here. And then, sometimes I just hope that horses can win on back class, and I'm kind of banking on PL Rainbow Dash that's going to happen, because
it's a really
hasn't
low
been in this
class.
sheep for a long time.
No, she's got all the parts to beat this. The only thing that's going to get PL Rainbow Dash, who's coming in here with a good line on a fresh date, the only thing that gets her beat is her. If she ends up making a break, which once in a while she can do that. I think she overtrusts herself.
She's only won 5 races in her career, too.
Yeah, but she's without everything else, as you can even see last year, 1 win and then 7 second and thirds. She's always right there, and that's in classes way above this one. She can finish 3rd and 2nd in against the really, really top kind of horses. Look at the horses that she's been taking on. Devil's Arch, Right Here, Hanover, Distance Learning. In her last, I think that this is her race to win in here. The one that I think is going to be the toughest one to beat her, though, is the 10 horse.
Yeah.
But my toughest competition is going to come in here with what I would consider to be an average kind of last start, and draws the 10 hole and loses James McDonald. I'm kind of cool with that. I'll play against Muscle Fashion.
Mr. Magic just hasn't been able to seal the deal as of late. It's been okay, but just not quite good enough. The only thing I can guarantee in this race, not that the 5 PL Rainbow Dash is going to win, but I can guarantee that Katie Huskinson will give us a wave to the camera.
And a big smile.
Every time out.
Every time, yep. Smiling Katie, absolutely. How you doing, Katie?
PL Rainbow Dash with the drop down in class. Hopefully we'll have some success there in the 7th. Let's get to race number 8 now on the program. You and I, we both kind of agree. We're kind of chalky on tonight's card, although I have a price coming up in the 9th, as do you. Here in this 8th race, you've got Bronx Drifter, who's been really, really good as of late. You've got Showstop, who lost to Bronx Drifter last time out. Can anybody step up to dethrone Bronx Drifter in this category in race number 8?
Well, I mean, if things can go against him, but where I'm going to go back with Bronze Drifter right now is he's the only one in this field that wants to win. The rest of them seem like they're getting tricked into winning, or they have to be in a certain trip to be able to get the win. He just wants to win, and so I'm going to stick with Bronx Drifter, and we have a replay of him. And like I said before, I don't often show replays that you can just easily see that last line. He makes a move around the last turn, makes front, and then he wins. But it's how sometimes they win. And he was powerful, very, very powerful on end. So let's take a look at Bronx Drifter. He's going to be my all-in tonight, Jeff. That's how good I thought this guy raced. So here he is, just going to start to make that removing move here with McNair. And, he's just going to kind of just move around at this point, and now at this point, it's over. And I just love the way that Dougie does this. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's almost like a horse wouldn't know that he's back there. He's so small anyway, and then he just sits there quietly like Trevor Ritchie, not even any movement or anything like that, just quietly letting the horse do his own thing, not letting him get away, not letting him open up too many lengths or anything, puts the bit back in his mouth at the wire. This Doug McNair, I think he's got a career if he wants to, if he wants to stick at this. I think he knows what he's doing, Jeff.
We're working with Captain Obvious tonight here on the show, and that is Randy Waples. Yeah, you're right, though. And the great news for Bronx Drifter, when the second choice on the morning line was 1 for 36 last year.
Yes, yes.
And you're coming in with 3 wins in a row. You're feeling pretty good about yourself coming into this race.
100%, yeah, 100%. I mean, he's like I said, in this field of horses, he seems like he's the only horse that wants to win races.
Yeah, 9th race on the day. This is the race where Randy and I are both going to try and beat the favorite. We're going to go in different directions in here, though. The favorite is Santa Fe's Appetite with the drop down in class, who absolutely crushed in this category 2 starts ago. 1 for fun, as a matter of fact. But you and I are looking for a bit of a number. I'll let you go first because you're hoping that Osceola has a big night because you've got Western Wish on top here. Yeah, Western Wish is going to be the way. I've been waiting for her to come right down to the bottom. I'm not going to say that this is the very bottom, but it's pretty close to being the to the very bottom. So Western Wish is going to be my top pick in here. I mean, she's got gate speed when JR wants to apply it. It seems to me that, now she's 8 years of age. She's not going to come off of a time off, have one qualifier under her belt and then be ready to go. I just don't see that's the way that it's going to work for her. When they get a little bit older, it's kind of like an older driver. You need to kind of warm up, so you get a couple of miles underneath you to get things going again. So now she's got, a qualifier, 1, 2, 3, 4 starts under her belt and comes down to the bottom of the class and draws middle of the gate. I really like her. So let's take a look at her last, not her last start. We're going to show December the 12th. And the reason is, Jeff, is this is non-winners at 10,000 this night. And she's only going to get beat a couple of lengths from the rail, got away mid-pack, stays kind of mid-pack, comes 27-3 on the end of it. But in against horses like Lion's Better Day, Caviar, and Crackers. Now she's in here, and we're wondering, can she take down Chief's Dream Girl, Santa Fe's Appetite, and these kinds of horses? 'Cause I'm Special. I think she can. So here we are, JR with her. Now, she's sliding up the inside right now. And like I said, she never really does anything too spectacular, but she makes money and she keeps coming back. And when she starts to win, she wins a few races. And like I said, this is first start back off of the layoff. And I mean, she's right there with the rest of them since that start, or second start back. Since that start, she's had 1, 2 starts since then, all on a good rotation. And her last start, she suffers broken equipment. I think she lost a shoe. So I just think that she could be better in here tonight. Now let's talk about the way you went. Well, I went towards Chief's Dream Girl in here. I think she's going to wake up in this spot. Now the problem with her is she needs a bit of a setup in this race because she's got no speed, but she's got a wicked turn of foot when it comes to late in the mile. And she came home beautifully, I thought, in that most recent race. It was her first start in about 3.5 weeks going into that last race as well. So I'm looking for a bit of a price play in here. Now, just to get back to Randy's pick, this being Western Wish, because I remember I was working, I think it was one of my last shifts before the Thoroughbred started last season, and it was on that day that Jared Plant wired the field, a good field, just a level below the preferred, as a matter of fact, and he was able to wire them on that day. So you might be onto a real, just come and get me type of approach here today with Western Wish. So I might not have given that horse enough credit there coming up in race number 9.
Reach back to the Brat Tickle Trunk. Do you remember when he won with her that day? Were you surprised? Did
Shocked.
she? Yes. See, that's what I'm saying with
what was
her.
she on that day?
I don't think that she really signals what's going on. I think you got to look for
36-1 on that day.
36-1.
Yeah.
I think you got to look for a good draw, a driver that knows her, that's willing to put her into play, and the big thing is too is that she in a good field, and I mean I think all the arrows are pointing towards Western Wish ending up in the winner's circle tonight.
Start number 164 for her tonight. She has been an absolute warrior.
624,000 lifetime.
We're going to skip the 10th, and we're going to get to race number 11 on the day. This is a tricky one. I think the bookend races tonight are fantastic. And I guess it's all a question of how good is DA Miss Universe. Do you think she can just keep on going in here? James McDonald is obviously away. So right now it's going to be Mike Whalen that picks up the drive. But Mike was able to pick up the drive last time with this horse when they were able to win. And the guy to ask about how much upside this horse has is right to my left. So I'm going to do that right now. Post position number 8. Has won from post 8 in the past. How nice do you think she is?
I think she's pretty nice. Yeah, I do. I think she's pretty nice, this one here. 4-year-old Big Jim. And look at the barn she comes out of, the great one. Harry Polton training him. You don't see Harry racing as much the last year or two, but every time that he's puts a horse into go, I always pay special attention to him. One of my childhood heroes. This guy, wow, what a stable he had at one point. But DA Miss Universe, I think that she's much the best. And the reason why, Jeff, is the horse that finished second to her last week there, Dream Fair Diamond. I absolutely loved this one. She got an absolutely perfect second over trip, fired at the head of the lane. Looked like she was going to win, but guess who followed her every step of the way? You know what I mean? So that's how good this one raced. The one that I thought that got a perfect trip that I really, really liked in there, she just went around her like she was tied to a fence. So DA Miss Universe, I think, is pretty strong.
Jackpot High Five's got a carryover of $3,388.09 as it was hit last week here at Woodbine Mohawk Parks. We've touched on the pick 5. It's guaranteed pool tonight of $75,000. Let's take a look at Randy's ticket in here, and both you and I have got a similar key to wrap it up in race number 5.
Yeah, we're going to both key the beach. What's her name again?
Beach Wiggle.
Beach Wiggle. Beach Wiggle. There you go. Okay, so in race number 1, 3, and 4 is the way I'm going to go. Eternally Hanover, Meadowview Rothie. I'm much like Jeff. If Jeff's saying that he alled this race, I think that that's really, really probably the way to go, because that is a tough race. You got to be really lucky to get through that first leg. La Mickey and Sugar Pie Honey are going to be for me in race number 2. Go a lot deeper in race number 3. We have a scratch of the 3 Shutter Green down to a field of 7, and I'm using 4 of them. So tough race there as well. Race number 4 starts to clear up a little bit. I'm using Southwind Infusion, Arizona Jackson, and Honolulu Vacation. And then in race number 5 is that single of Beach Wiggle. I can't wait to see the Brat ticket here.
Well, because I went all in the first, that means I had to go skinny in races 4 and 5 because it got a little bit pricey here. So I know I'm going to get one leg right. Let's get the biggest prize home in here. So I press the all button in here. In the second, I've got the 2 and the 7. I'm going to use the same 2 horses you've got. In the third, I've got Done October and Legacy's Jailbreak. It's Turcotte off the claim that worries me with that one.
That
so I
could
had to
be
toss that
dicey.
one in. Fourth race, I've got Southwind Infusion. I really like the way that he won last time, but I realized he traveled in behind Catfish Jack, but still, I still think
he was
Southwind,
the best.
Yeah. And then in the 5th, I'm all in on Beach Wiggle. So there's my
That's a nice ticket.
$40.
That's a nice. I can guarantee you one thing: you're getting through the first leg, and that's the scariest part of my ticket.
Okay, plays of the night. Randy's already given you his all-in play. What else does he have up his sleeve here?
Okay, so Waple's watch is going to be Beach Wiggle. We showed you that replay. Huge motor on the end of it. Beat the favorite in race number 6. That's going to be Kalina Diamond. We're all in Bronx Drifter in race 8. And then in race 9, my worth a look is going to be Western Wish.
I think we have some similarities. I'm going all in with Beach Wiggle. That's my Brat's best of the day. My repeat threat is Done October. I Just love the way the horse won last time out. Bronx Tripper is going to be my multi-leg single, and my beat the fave is the Chief.
This is absolutely perfect. Hey, if I was grading your plays of the night, I'd give you like an A+ on that.
Well,
one.
now they just have to do it on the track.
Well, okay, it's starting as an A+.
That's right. Always starts as an A+. As we take a look at the rest of the plays of the day, Garnet Barnsdale, his spot play is going to be Helpful Princess. He's taking money.
Interesting.
Right now on the board at 5-2 is Gislaine Paquette, Mr. Ibiza. For
like
that one,
that
I
horse.
do think that horse could rebound too.
Agreed.
And Beauty Wish, that's where Kevin Plowcheck from DRF is going to go with a spot play. Now, you might be noticing the minutes to post, the fact that it says 2 minutes to post. We are going to move up post time today. Scheduled to go around 6:10. We'll probably go a little bit after that, but just get your wagers in early to avoid being shut out. So if you're thinking to yourself, isn't post time 6:15? You are usually correct, but it is.
So you're telling me tonight
Yeah.
that post time is 6:15 and we're going to go before
We're going
six?
well, it's supposed to be at 6:10, judging by the 2 minutes. Now, will we go at 6:10? Probably not. But just get your wagers. All I'm going to say is just wager early to avoid being shut out.
Unbelievable. Another Festivus miracle.
And it's time to air your grievances. 4 nights of racing. Monday, Friday, Saturday, and don't forget about Sunday. Coming up tomorrow, we have 11 tomorrow, I think?
Yes.
10 Sunday and 10 on Monday. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll get you all set for the openers. We kick off the Friday night program here from Woodbine Mohawk Park.